The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
USAA.
Hilton brings you new ways to stay. With experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Halliday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Halliday. Halliday, bring it on.
From the Fifth Quarter Studio in Madison, Wisconsin. You're listening to the Funnel Down Defense Podcast. And now here's your host, Steve Collins. Steve Collins.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. I'm going to talk about the aggressiveness of the funnel down defense. But before I do that, I'd like to give a big shout out to our two sponsors. First of all, teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. One-stop shop for all of you basketball coaches. Go over and check it out. Also, if you're looking for in-depth things on the funnel down, I can only do so much on a podcast as far as explaining and teaching the funnel down defense. But if you're looking for in-depth, funneldowndefense.com will take care of you. And you'll have everything that you need to be able to run this. And I thought I was doing some interesting things. I've always loved keeping the ball in the middle. And this is, I've always wanted to be more aggressive. And that's kind of, you can go back to episode 1 or 2, the one we talked about kind of the funnel down and how we were kind of dealing with it. But my belief is the offense has so many advantages over the defense. And, I want to be the aggressor. I do not want to be the victim. So we try to be as aggressive as we can. And that's kind of one of the ways the funnel down defense came about. We want to make them uncomfortable. We want them to attack and push them to the sideline and the baseline. That is the sole premise of the funnel down defense. It keeps those opponents out of the middle. And, there's all sorts of the Texas Tech no middle. There's the only left, which,
Llévate más de lo que esperas todos los días con el nuevo McValue en McDonald's. Ahora puedes comprar uno y sumarle otro por $1. Así que cuando tu equipo favorito enfrenta a sus rivales, enfrenta tus antojos con $5 Meal Deals. Y si estás corriendo para alcanzar el desayuno, corre al app para llevarte ofertas antes del cutoff. Tú decides, y con McValue, tu decisión siempre rinde más. Precios y participación pueden variar. BOGO $1 válido para un producto de igual o menor valor. Debe estar registrado en Rewards para ofertas en el app.
Is great, I guess, at the lower levels, but we try to get them to go left, but I'm a realist and I'm a mathematician. I know at times they're not. I want to simplify. I do not want to add layers or steps to the defense. So if it's on the right side, we're gonna funnel it on the right side, and our rotations and our rules will be exactly the same. So again, simplifying it and making it as easy as possible is something that I really want to do. It's hard for the players when they're kind of, when they're doing the, EBF, when they're worried about the ear and the butt and the feet and their toes are kind of are toward the sideline. That is not the normal stance. And it is something not only technique wise that you're going to have to work on, but in small sided games and reads and response and how they kind of deal with that is a difficult thing. And it's easy because icing ball screens is kind of the, with the pick and roll and stuff is kind of what everyone's doing now anyway. And it's, whether you're doing it out of a zone or a man, leaving the ball handlers no option other than to refuse it and then be pushed back toward that baseline, toward the sideline. So I think, it makes it hard. When we front those posts and when we push on that sideline, it doesn't give them a lot of choices, and it's aggression. I want to be aggressive on the defense. Like I said before, I think the offense has a lot of advantages over us on the defensive end. And anytime I can, and I was preaching to my players this morning about this. I said, every offense wants to swing the ball. No offense wants to stay, in the gutters. No offense wants to stay on one side of the court. And when we do this and do it well, we'll frustrate them. They're going to put and something that you really need to think about is, how are you going to go about teaching this? How are you going to go about funneling them to the specific side so they only can go to one spot? You're kind of herding the cattle into one specific area, and it makes it really difficult for them to find other locations to be able to score. So I'm hoping you find these helpful. Again, if you want in depth, if you want to dive into this with me, go over to funneldowndefense.com and check out everything. Talk to you soon.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.